Everybody here pretty much remembers Jerry's year, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
He did a great job. He had Linda, he followed you, didn't he? Linda?
Yes.
So I was a tough act to follow, especially AV-wise. And Jerry, I'd come in here in the morning, I'd say, hey, Jerry, how's it going? He'd be up from like 2 in the morning preparing for his meeting. Anyway, he did a terrific job, and that's not why we brought him back. He's been pursuing his passion with photography ever since he picked up a Kodak Brownie a long time ago. He's taken every photo class at SRJC and numerous workshops with the masters. Jerry specialized in black and white fine art prints for 20 years in his home darkroom, and now he's all digital. Since joining Rotary, Jerry has done every event photography for our club, district, and zone. He's also been the photojournalist on 6 of the 7 Rotoclass trips, and next month he'll haul his gear to Bangladesh for yet another Rotoclass mission. Please join me in welcoming Jerry Mack.
Well, good morning. Joe's going to turn on my mic. God, it's great to be back up here. I've got a program here, Your Best Shot, Photography with Intention. So we all love to take photos, right?
Yes.
And we could do this photo program that could kind of go on for years. But I'm going to tie it into just the kind of photos that a lot of us take. I mean, we all take photos, right? We're out there this morning taking the photo of the rainbow, and it was because, you know, whatever camera you have is okay. Cell phones are great. So the 2 kinds of photography that I think most people do are, what, vacation? Or you're out here in Sonoma County, Beautiful County, so you take pictures of the area here. And what are the other ones that you take pictures of?
Grandbaby.
Grandkids, family.
That's
Right.
what
So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So photography is drawing with light. That's what that means. And drawing part of it, we talk about composition and focus. By focus, of course, you have your pictures in focus. But I mean, what is your intention of focusing on when you focus your camera? And with light, we talk about the time of day, whether you use a flash or no flash. And by the way, I encourage you never to use a flash unless you, just forget you have a flash. We'll talk about that later. The direction of where the light's coming from, and whether it's direct or diffused. I'm not going to get into kind of geeky, techie kind of stuff. We're going to just keep it real light. I already have. Okay, so this is an example of light. Okay, whoa, that's beautiful. That's the light coming through Michelangelo's dome in St. Peter's Basilica. By the way, all these photos are mine, except for the few that I'll identify that are not mine. So what is the best equipment to use? The best equipment is, of course, whatever you have with you. That's right. It doesn't matter. You can have a $10,000 SLR, or a pocket camera, or like we did this morning, pull out your cell phone. It doesn't matter. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, but here's the only techie part I'm going to get. How to hold your camera so you don't, you do it right. Okay, like this guy here. If you have a digital SLR, hold it underneath with one hand and do that. Keep your elbows in tight. If you have a little pocket camera, again, keep it close to you. If you have it out like this nerdy guy, you're going to end up with a little camera shake like that. And so, but if you hold it in the right way, you don't get the camera shake. Okay, so we're going to move really fast here. And one other thing. Don't be like these guys here. You see people with their lens shades turned backwards because they don't know what to do with them. So this is what a lens shade looks like. Use it properly all the time, even indoors, because it cuts the glare off the lens. So let's talk about composition a little bit. I think you'd agree that, as nice as Phyllis is, this is also a nice composition. An evening at Goat Rock Beach. Thank you, Joe. This was that night. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what makes this a nice composition. If you divide your frame into thirds like this, and some cameras allow you to kind of superimpose this while you're looking through the camera. Take a look at, put your subject of your point of interest at the intersection of one of those thirds. So, like, you know, Phyllis here is kind of right at the third there. Typically, you wouldn't have the horizon right through the middle of the picture, but in this case, the nice clouds are taking up 1/3 of the picture there. Elements of 3 things in the picture, an odd number, like all the flower arrangers know, you know, that makes a nice symmetry. You have leading lines, like the surf line in there, kind of gives you a leading line into the picture. And so, this becomes, you know, a pleasing composition. S-curves leading into the pictures. This is also another nice way of creating a pleasant composition. Donald Trump's fence on the border with Mexico here. Another good example of a leading line.
Where's the golden door?
Pay for this.
Which side is he on?
You have complementary lines like the clouds, you know, the sweep of the clouds, the length of the power lines there. This one in southern Wales. The tide that went out that strands a little boat there. You know, again, when you put the thirds on there, you got the sky as a third of the picture. In the lower left, the flowers in the foreground give you a nice 1/3 there. And the little boat, it might be kind of hard to see, but the little boat stranded at low tide up there, kind of at the intersection of the thirds there. If you're in England there, the nice stone walls, the road leading in, and again, at the intersection of the thirds, you got your stone barn there, and 1/3 of the sky. 1/3 of the picture is the sky. If you want to create some depth in a picture, put something in the foreground that gives you something up close, and then the nice leading lines of the tulips going all the way back to the mountains. Okay, so details. Details, details. Okay, so you all know I'm a little bit fanatic, detail-oriented, yes. So, you know, you're in Venice and you take a nice picture and you think, oh, that's pretty good, eh? But no, you got to have a little separation between the elements in the picture. So be careful with things like that. Now, this one here is going to demonstrate just how OCD I am. Okay, so see right there? You don't want to have that in your picture if you really want a nice composition. You got to get your ruler out and, you know, walk around a little bit. Everything separates properly in the picture. Okay. No, everything's. Oh, go back one? Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. So you want to create a sense of place in your pictures as well. So, you know, you're on vacation, you're in a foreign country, get a little bit of, you know, foreign language in the picture there. Now, before I realized what a great idea the selfie thing was, and by the way, I had a selfie from Mexico that didn't make it into the competition there. But be careful about, okay, I mean, does anybody really want to care about this guy's selfie up there? People, when you travel, forget the selfie sticks, please. So look around and see what else there is to see. And get a picture like nobody else is going to have a picture like this because it only occurs in a split second. And when you show your pictures to your friends and family after your vacation, you have something a little bit different and unique. You go to a nice fancy place on the lake out there in northern Italy, don't forget to focus a little bit on the details in the picture there. So you get the wide stuff, bring it in medium, and then close in for the details a little bit too. You see the bridges in Venice there. Take a look at what's happening underneath the bridges too. And you might get a very interesting shadow pattern on the wall there of some laundry hanging on the walls. If you're in the old Jewish ghetto, the 16th century Jewish ghetto in Venice, get some old Jewish people in there to give it, you know. I didn't have to Photoshop them in. They were really there. know, take a look at what's going on in the windows. You know, the mannequins in the windows to show what the sense of place and what the fashions are in the area where you are. If you're taking a picture of some monuments and a whole bunch of school kids come in there, great, because then you've got some local color in there. And, you know, what's better than a bunch of little schoolgirls with their backpacks? Okay, and you know, if it's wedding season in Italy, take a look at some local sense of place there of some people getting their pictures taken there. The wedding, I mean, it was all over. It was fun. See what's happening on the streets. You know, in addition to all the kind of postcard pictures, you know, the everyday stuff that's happening on the street. If you're in Agra, India, watch for the janitor there, and you know, a sense of place and where he's there with his old-fashioned broom. It just adds a little bit of detail. Again, see where this guy's placed off-center here. You don't have to center your subjects in the picture there. If you're in Ireland, or I think this in Wales, and you see a Neolithic dolmen, this thing's thousands of years old. Some of the, okay, geeky time, some of the cameras allow you just with a push of a button to give you that old sepia kind of tone and give it a sense of aging like that. You go to the art galleries, in this case the famous Uffizi Gallery in Italy, and you go, oh, there's the Botticelli pictures that I've seen everywhere. You don't have to take pictures because this stuff is behind glass or plastic or something. You're going to get a little reflection, and you get the angle and all of that. You can go on the internet and get samples of these things to put in your show. Better yet, back up a little bit and get a sense of what the room was like and what was happening in the area there. And you see that, you know, an exquisite Michelangelo painting. There's only one, by the way, that exists that's on a piece of, you know, on a separate panel like that. Back up a little bit again and get a sense of what the room looked like. And if you back up a little bit more, you might even see the lady dusting the statuary there. And you can follow her around a little bit. And, you know, even out in the hallway there. And this poor guy taking a selfie is totally unaware. He's so self-absorbed, he's missing what's going on there. So you don't have to take selfies. Maybe he's in a Rotary Club. If you go to the Vatican Museum, you know, you're going to see fancy, you know, thousands-of-year-old statues. Take a look around and, you know, you see some bubble wrap statue, and now you see something that not everybody's going to take a picture of, bubble wrapped statue. But, you know, it gives you something to talk about and a mystery of what's going on. You finally get to the Sistine Chapel, and oh, you're not even allowed to take pictures there. But you see, you can get this kind of good stuff off the internet. And, you know, this famous picture of you know, God and Adam on the ceiling there, Michelangelo and all. When you're out in nature, you're just walking around, you can get pictures that kind of remind you of that. This is actually one my daughter took in Seattle, and you know, it kind of, you get the connection there? I think it works, you know, it's fun. Look for stuff like that. You can create a sense of place. In this case, this guy in the Amazon area in Peru, taking plantains up. He's squeezing in with his toes to grab the mud, and you can create a little story that goes along with it, of loading them into the truck and get a little motion in the picture like that. You get a nice postcard picture of a castle in Wales. Walk around the back, and now you get a little bit different picture because you're away from where everybody else is, and you get a sense of the local folks up there. Okay, so now you go to some iconic place, and you go, oh, I got a postcard picture here. It's okay, you can take some postcards, but you also want to have you know, get a sense of back up a little bit, you know, the long picture, the medium, the close in. You can frame it a little bit with this Moorish arch, and wait for the right time of day too, because later in the day, maybe some clouds will come in. You get a little bit closer to it with an angle. Change your angle a little bit. Convert it to a black and white, and now you have a photo that not everybody else is going to have. It's not your typical postcard photo. Another iconic place, okay? So then it's kind of dull, middle of the day. What do? Back up a little bit. See, okay, you got your thirds there, so you put it off-center on the thirds there, 2/3 of the sky. You got a little bit of color in the landscape there. Or get down low and shoot up a little bit. Or better yet, move in closer, isolate things. But again, see how there's a separation between everything in the picture there. Don't have things overlapping. Yeah. If you're in some old Roman ruins there and you happen to luckily be there by nobody else there, put somebody in the picture there though to give a sense of scale. Where is that, Jerry? This is in Fiesole, up the hill from Florence. This is in Wales here. You want to remember what green hills, what green grass looks like. Hopefully we'll see it again here. Call in the local sheep to give it a sense of place there. And, put something in the foreground, overlooking his realm. Okay, so now you're in Ireland. It looks gorgeous. And you've got this beautiful path leading out there. But for a sense of scale, put some people in there. It's okay. Let your hikers go in there. See them? And it gives you a little bit of a sense of place there. Again, a nice stone circle in the Lake District there. Back up a little bit. Put one of your travel partners in there and taking a picture, and it gives you that scale a little bit more. Okay, so people in posing. Here's some friendly folks, my brother and brother-in-law, and you see the nice triangular shape that we're in there. That's a nice way to pose. With just two people, tilt their heads a little bit rather than just, straight up and down. Okay, so we learned from the masters, Michelangelo here, a great painting. Look at, just the fabulous way that he has crafted what's going on. Everybody looking, the circular motion. That's the original frame of the picture, his circular frame. And from, Mary's legs all the way up around and her arms. Everything works. Okay, so this is not Michelangelo, but, there's still a circular element to posing in here. And so it gives you a pleasing way to do it. Create that triangular shape. If you're taking a picture of a couple of people, you don't need them smack in the middle with way space around. Move in close. But again, because you're a little bit careful, watch out for stuff growing out of their heads. If you're at the famous Christmas party from the Rotary Club, you don't have to have the other people in the picture there. Move in close and get that nice picture and see the nice curve and shape of the arms there. It works very well. A little environment. Your subject of interest up there on the intersection of the thirds. It works really well. Okay, you don't want to pose somebody standing there, with their hands in the pockets straight on. I was taking some pictures at the high school poetry competition of the contestants. So have that person turn 45 degrees with their shoulders 45 degrees to you, and then move in close, and then they're looking into the camera, and you get that nice classic head and shoulders kind of portrait thing. Again, you don't have to have a lot of space around them. Move in close. But one thing to watch out for here. Okay, do you spot what's wrong in this one?
Telephone lines.
Well, yeah, that too. The power lines going through their heads. But see, they're cut off at a joint. Okay, you want to try to avoid that. The elbow here and the wrist here, you can move in a little bit closer and don't cut a person off at the waist, the joint, the knees, that kind of thing. Better yet, in this case, back up a little bit because of the height difference between the two people. A nice portrait of my daughter here. Again, mistake. See, she's cut off right at the elbow there. So you don't want to do that. You can move in a little bit closer. But if you got someone with a sense of style, back up a little bit and get that whole style of that person in there as well. You know, your basic vacation grab shot of the folks on vacation. Put them in the spot of the frame where, you know, they're a little off center, and you've got a nice leading line going into the lighthouse on the shore of Lake Michigan. Be careful of backlighting. So if you're shooting against a bright window, you're going to get black people, you know, I mean dark, it's not going to work. So remember I said about the direction of the light. If people are out in the full sun, don't have them looking into the sun because they're squinting. If the sun's coming from behind, you get a little bit of hair light on there. It looks pretty good, and the eyes are open. This is the one time when you can use some flash, and that is if you want to open up the shadows. In this case here, for who is that? Okay. If you have a dark shadow across the space, so I use a little bit of flash in there to open up that shadow, but you don't want it to look like flash. So, you know, at the Cajun Festival, you use a little bit of fill flash, and you open up the faces a little bit more. But be careful of on-camera flash, because, you know, this is a little bit better. I know the color balance is off a little bit, but still, I think that's a better shot there without the flash. If you're in an Irish pub and you know, a session going on, these guys don't want to be flashed in the face. Let your camera just take the natural lighting. You know, in a barn dance, because of the long exposure, you're going to get a little movement too, which is even better. So think about the time of day as well when you're out there. Sunset pictures are always nice. Another good example of leading lines and the 1/3 and all of that. So you want to take a picture of this island in the lake there in Italy. In the middle of the day, it's not very interesting. A little later in the day, there's an intersection of night and day, and you get the natural lighting of the buildings up there, and even later in the day, a little street lamp, and you get a more interesting picture, and clouds are going to come in later in the day as well. You go to another iconic place, the Spanish Steps in Rome, and you go, oh God, in the middle of the day, it's just people there. I don't even, where are the steps? But you get up early in the morning, okay? This is vacation, you don't sleep in, you get up early in the morning. And if you get there early enough, the street lights are still on, and you get that warm glow, and you get to see what the Spanish Steps look like. You want to get, you know, show some people in there, some early morning joggers will do the trick for you. And you can actually see the azaleas blooming on the steps. If you're in, you want to show the hotel that you wish you were staying in, wait until later in the day when they turn the lights on, and that intersection of night and day. And again, you get a more interesting picture that way. If you're in Venice in the middle of the day, okay, and it's a little bit bland in the middle of the day, but later in the day, you get some silhouettes going on with the gondoliers. It's still light enough to open the shadows there, and you get a little better picture. This gondolier is going, what the hell are these people doing with their selfie stick? They're not paying attention to me. Okay, so you're overlooking the Roman Forum in Rome. It's beautiful. But wait till later in the day. You get some nice clouds and color and the sun going down. And then you think, they're going to turn the lights on all these monuments here. And so it's going to look better. So you wait a little later in the day, and the sky's turning darker blue. And then right when it's at the latest, right before nighttime comes, you can't see anything, then you get a really cool picture there with the lights and still a little bit of blue sky and everything. So early morning or late afternoon, the best time to take pictures. And even at night. See, you know, you got your middle of the day picture. When I took this picture, it was totally dark. I couldn't see a thing other than the street lights. But prop your camera for the long shutter exposure on the top of the railing on the bridge, and see what you get. Experiment a little bit. Take a picture, you know, late in the day, at night in front of the cathedral with the local folks hanging out there. You get a picture, you know, your basic postcard here. Look, wait till a little later in the day, they turn the lights on and you get a more interesting picture. Okay, you're in Mexico. The beautiful church, the setting sun is casting a warm glow on the church there. Again, see the separation there? Don't let things be loud. But you go, oh, look at the shadow of the cross on the church there. Use that as an element and get a picture that creates that sense of place and mystery a little bit. You know, the woman selling trinkets, or the family taking a break from the long day of selling their wares at the steps there. You get up really early in the morning and you're going to be like this guy here. You're going to see other photographers out there because we like to get up early in the morning and take pictures. And you get that nice sun angle early in the morning. You can create great images with that. The middle of the day, all you see are people on the steps there. You get up early. This is how it could have looked 500 years ago, you know, because that's the way it is. You're in St. Mark's Square, the kids with a selfie stick and a tchotchke cart going on there, and all you see are people. Get up early in the morning and commune with the pigeons a little bit. And oh, look, you see the guy with another guy with the broom. I kind of go after the guys with the brooms. And you think, oh, take a look at the picture because it was pretty good, but I blew it because I cut off the tops of the church and it's tilted and everything. So photograph with intention. Back up a little bit and you see you've got the guy there now in the right spot in the picture. It's level. You got the whole thing going on. It makes a nice, you got a nice leading, some leading lines going in. Everything works a little bit better. You want a title slide of the city you're in, you know. Who else? Take a picture of the drainage grate, you know, with the word Florenza, you know, Florence on it. Because you're there in Florence, all you're going to see are people in the middle of the day. Tons of people there. But you get up early, now you can see the Duomo with the way it could have looked 600-700 years ago, or whenever they put the marble in the front there. And if you're lucky, you know, you got some local folks walking around to really give you that sense of place. And with people in the picture, if they're walking into the picture, you want to have them be able to walk into the picture a little bit like that. Okay, selfie. Have somebody take your picture. You don't have to do that. Photograph with intention. If you want the sun coming in and the early morning clouds at Machu Picchu, you got to get up early. You got to think about what you're doing. And then you can get the picture that you want. So make it your best shot. Take photographs with intention. If you want to get geeky, I brought all of these too.
Great. Well, we have.
Oh,
I know it's a total surprise. Never seen this before.
Thank you very much.
That's appropriate, especially. Thank you very much, and we have work for you to do.
Okay.
In the form.
If anybody has questions too, I'll hang around.
Jerry, are you a frustrated janitor that you take pictures of all these cleaning people?
Well, you know, I have a friend who takes pictures of toilets. So I don't know that. Okay. The winning number is 7142.
Oh.
7142. Okay, it's Lori. Okay, I'm pulling for Lori.
Pulling for Lori.
Pulling for Lori.
Is that like waiting for Godot?
Okay, make sure you're good, right?
A deuce. All right, but door prize for Lori from you. Oh, that's fine.
Somebody get a picture of that.
It's here.
Vanish, you don't know. Glasses disappear around Nancy. Thank you, Gus, for filling in for Jim Long. Yeah. Tilbury Joe. Oh, Nancy has a trouble. Hey, Joe. We have a microphone.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here it comes.
Is this thing like am I on? No. Am I?
You are.
Now am I on?
Yeah.
Okay, I got some one-liners here from our friend Milton Berle.
Okay.
You have to pretend like I look like Milton Berle. And I'm going to read these until you laugh. About my mother-in-law. I need you for Christmas, but you won't let me plug it in. No, that's Luda. I just got back from a pleasure trip. I took my mother-in-law to the airport. My wife and I went to the hotel where we spent our wedding night. Only this time, it was me who stayed in the bathroom and cried. Why is Christmas just like a day at the office? You do all the work and the fat guy in the suit takes all the credit. A drunk was in front of the judge and the judge says, "You've been brought here for drinking," and the drunk says, "Okay, let's get started." A committee, this is a Rotary joke. A committee is defined as a group of the unwilling chosen by the unfit to do the unnecessary. A conscience is defined as what hurts when the rest of you feels good. A dermatologist makes rash decisions. Drowning. Depression is anger without enthusiasm. Experience is the name given to our mistakes. And lactose is a consequence of frostbite. Lactose. That's all I got.
All right, here we go. Trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on the way. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Oh, Bob.